Child Life Specialist helps patients and families cope with being in the hospital. We help to reduce the trauma that happens here during medical experiences. Overall, we just help to make it easier on families and patients while they're here in the hospital.
Here at CHOP, we're one of the largest child life programs in the country with just over 75. You can pretty much find a child life specialist anywhere that you would go, especially at our main campus, from the emergency department to every inpatient unit. I personally cover outpatient clinics in the Berger Center, and we even have some that are covering our satellite locations.
The type of schooling that you need to become a child life specialist is a minimum of an undergraduate degree with a child life internship. Some of us have master's degrees as well.
As child life specialists, we help to support both patients and their families for hospital procedures. And we do this by helping a child to understand what's happening to them and around them in a way that they should understand. So if I'm meeting with a 3-year-old, I'm going to talk with language that a 3-year-old should understand. A 10-year-old, a little bit higher level. We also help to develop coping plans. So we figure out how can we make this as easy as possible for you at the hospital and walk away with a smile.
So working in the NICU, procedural support looks a little bit different. I actually work with the infants during even the simplest procedure, like changing a diaper. I may be providing some facilitated tucking, like tucking their arms and legs into their body to help to support them, to help keep them calm during those things. For children here at the hospital, they may come into the hospital not having any sort of medical experience previous to this visit. So if they know what's going to be happening, it makes that visit easier for them.
Research studies show that anticipatory stress is far better than unexpected stress. And so we know if we provide kids with developmentally appropriate education before an experience, not only are they going to be far more compliant with their medical care, but they're also going to have a much greater level of trust among their caregivers while they're here, and that is absolutely critical for children.
As child life specialists, we really look at our role as people who help the entire family cope, so not just the patient, and that many times includes brothers and sisters as well.
We're going to help to normalize the hospital experience for them. So that may be taking them down to the studio to play bingo, doing a project with just them and not the patient, because that gives them that special one-on-one time that they need.
When we think about helping to prepare kids transitioning to home or to school, we approach it in very similar ways as we might prepping them for procedures and for the hospital experience.
Their family and friends may be asking questions about why they're in the hospital. So we help to prepare them to answer those questions. So we may do some role play with them to get them thinking about questions that people in the community may ask them.
We really try to not just focus on what happens here at the hospital, but how are they going to transition into life and still be normal kids with these new treatment or medicine that they have to take after they leave the hospital. A lot of times the medical team will say that they feel like Child Life comes in with their magical wand and is able to wave it, and then the child is able to cope well with the procedure. And it's not that we have a magical wand, but we really just use simple, honest information to explain to the child what to expect in a way they should understand, and then help to give them tools to make the experience easier for them.
There truly is a theoretical foundation for everything that we do.
You may see us playing, you may see us laughing and being silly, but we are a vital part of your child's care team by helping them to cope with being here at the hospital, by teaching them why they're here and preparing them for anything that they're going to be going through, while we also are supporting you as the family.
All right, welcome everybody. This is the month of July in our playthrough of Pandemic Legacy Season 1 for Extra Life 2020. I'm Dave. With me I have Mike. So we're going to attempt this. We're now in the second half of this Legacy game. We are playing through this to raise money for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The funds that we raise go to support the Child Life Services program, which you just saw some information about. They do some really great work there to help kids make it through their hospital stays and actually feel like kids. So we've been raising money this whole time. And one thing I want to point out is this week I had a really special donation. I got some merch from a local business, House Cup Coffee. So I really want to thank Brian Niles for his support of this work. House Cup Coffee in the Havertown area, I love their product. Their stuff is great. Brian's a great guy. He's a wonderful business person, neighbor, colleague, what have you. And he makes some great coffee. He will deliver locally if you're local to Havertown, but he also ships. He's got a website, which is this way, right next to me, housecupcoffee.com. Good stuff. So check him out, and maybe in a little bit we'll figure out how you guys can win a gift card to House Cup Coffee. We're working on some details to that. All right. As for tonight, so we're playing through the month of July. This game is about a set of circumstances that are kind of similar to what we're going through these days. There's this number of viruses that are gradually taking over the world, and we play the part of different scientists and researchers and medics and people who are trying to contain the chaos and try to keep things under control 1 month at a time. And things keep changing on us. Things keep getting crazier and crazier. So we're now at the turning point. We're past the halfway point in the latter half of the year. We're in July, so things are going to continue to get crazy for us. So we're going to get started. I've done some of the setup already just to get ourselves rolling, but we're going to zoom in here to see what our next legacy card is. So we draw this card at the beginning of your first game in July. And this is going to tell us what is going on in the world. So, the July mission briefing. A virologist who went missing at a research station in a fated city was on the verge of a breakthrough on CODA. That's the really nasty virus that's taken over the world. We need her ASAP, and her knowledge is the key to a possible vaccine. Without her, the threat of the fated will become permanent. We hate to ask your team, but given your level of understanding of this situation, we have no other options. We're going to need you to search for her. She was last seen in a research station in a fated city. Ugh. Okay. We don't have one, so we better build one. All right, and then we got a bunch of things to open up. So I gotta open up letter K. Where is letter K? Vitamin K. K is also the symbol for the element potassium. It's a letter of the alphabet about halfway through. Where it comes before J, or comes after J.
Karen's first initial.
Karen's first initial. There it is. There's the letter K. All right. So letter K says search, the action search. So discard one or more cards to advance one search party token along a search track. Only certain cities can be searched. Eligible cities are described on each search card. Whenever an epidemic occurs, advance the target of each search one space. If a target ever reaches the cold trail space, the target cannot be found during this game. If a search party reaches the target of its search, they find it. So now we've got a timed objective, as if we didn't have enough things to worry about. So this is going to go in spot K in the rulebook. So this is a legacy game, which means that the rules are always changing. We're always opening up new stuff. And it tells a story. Now we have to open up letter D. D. D for David. There is no element with the symbol D, although D could also potentially refer to deuterium, which is a heavy isotope of hydrogen. Okay. So we open up set up search tracks. Add a search party token to space 0 of each search track, and add a target token to the space on the track with the red outline. What in the world are they talking about? We're going to find out real soon what this is all referring to. And D, this goes in part of the setup. So this is now step 8 of the setup. And we have door number, and there's a yellow thing here. You now have secret clearance, constellation level 12, open package 5. Come on, autofocus. I know it's late. I know you're tired. Oh, well. All right. Opening package 5 from the box.
Something tells me that's search teams.
What could it be? What could it be? Box number 5. Oh my gosh. What do we have? We got more little symbols and stuff. It's like it's for a search or something. Like you're searching for things. So we're going to need these. Hopefully not all of them at once. Okay, I'm just going to keep those in front of me. And last thing we do is, oh, wait, we didn't find 44 yet. Okay, 44, where are you? Car 44? Is that what it is? Car 44? 44.
Car 44, where are you?
Car 44, you have now the search actions. These go on the action cards. I'm not going to add this now. I'll do it later. And it just says add these reference stickers to each reference card. So not going to worry about that now. Last thing I got to do is find door 47, which is right there. Could this be? Oh no, what is this nonsense? What is this nonsense? Time ticks on, and it says add one of these stickers to each epidemic card. Place them below the intensify instructions, and there's one more. So each one of these epidemic cards now has something else that it's going to do to make our lives miserable. It's going to now have time ticks on, which is going to make our searches harder, or at least more likely for us to fail, like beyond the point of recovery. And these I do need to add. I do need to add these now, because these will be important. There are 5 of these.
There's only room for 4 things here, and so that means nothing else can make the epidemics worse.
Right, nothing. It couldn't possibly get any worse than this, right? Right?
Exactly. There's no room for 5.
There's no room for 5. It couldn't get any worse. Okay. And all right. And my Uncle Vince is asking, how are we coming along there? We're doing okay, Vince. Hope you guys are doing all right. We are happy to have anybody join us. Check us out how we're doing here. Okay, so that's the 5 epidemic cards. I've added each one of those. All right, so that resolves this thing. Okay, but wait, there's more. Whoops, because there's still more stuff that I gotta uncover. So I draw another card from the top here. Now we've got another objective. Find the virologist in a fated city containing a research station. This is not a mandatory objective, but this would probably be very good if we could complete it. So that's going to go along the top there. And then we keep drawing. So now we draw something else. What could this be? It's folded, and we open it up. This is our search track. So the search for the virologist. So what all of these rules are saying for us to do is we have our search here. We start our search here at 0. Yeah, these cards, unfortunately, like to fold too much. Okay, so we start our search at 0, and our target starts at 6. Okay, as we progress the search, we're going to move this marker along this track and hopefully get to the target. But if we draw too many epidemic cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the trail will go cold and we will not be able to complete this search. Complete the search this game. So how do we take this search? What do we actually do to complete the search action? It says, when you're in a faded city with a research station, advance 1 space for each card you discard, matching the color of your city. So, for example, this is all probably going to be taking place inside of these yellow cities, because that's where all our faded cities are. So we would be discarding yellow cards. It also says advance 3 spaces if you discard the card matching your city. So if we get an exact match, we're going to move this thing even faster along the track. And then if there is a quarantine marker, which is what that symbol means, in the city you are searching, advance the search party 1 additional space per search action. So we're probably going to want to build a research base somewhere in a faded city and dump a bunch of yellow cards. Hopefully we'll have the card that matches the city that we're in, and we're going to want to quarantine it, so that way we get this thing done even faster. Okay, so this thing is going to live on somewhere on our board where I hopefully won't mess it up too much. But wait, there's more. All right, so now I draw this card. What is this thing? Nothing right now. It just says the Virologist. Scratch off when you find the Virologist. So nothing too fancy right now. I'm just going to stick that underneath the search card. And then we get to stop. At the end of your first game in July, do a bunch of things. All right, we'll worry about that later. Okay, so we have, I'm going to go through the cards, go through the cities that have been infected.
Switch camera view.
What would you rather have? You would rather have this one? Okay. Okay, so we've got 3 cubes each in Ho Chi Minh City, 3 cubes in Chennai, and 3 cubes in Karachi. So red, black, black. We've got 2 faded figures in Khartoum. We've got 2 blue cubes in Montreal and 2 blue cubes in Chicago. Lastly, all our 1s are all blue cities. We've got Madrid, Milan, and St. Petersburg. So now here's where we could use all of your folks' help. If you make a donation of any amount, you can help us win this game by granting us some special perks. We have these event cards, which can help us trigger some useful events like getting disease cubes off the board, or letting us move faster, or preventing just bad things from happening altogether. We can earn, you can get us more of these cards with donations, or you can help us by getting cubes off this board. So I think the rate that we're doing right now is $5 will get us an event card, $10 will get us a cube off the board. So since last week, we have received $30 total in donations. So that we can use that however we want, unless folks want to stipulate how we should spend that money. But for the time being, we're just going to make a game day decision and go with what we think is most appropriate. Now, the other important question that I have for you, Mr. Winters, is: are we going to be playing with 1 character each or 2? What do you think?
Thinking about that, and I think in a legacy game, 2 characters, while it's nice to have the extra cards, I think will hamstring us too much.
I would, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. This could get. We could very easily lose this first game, and in fact, losing the first. So every month we get 2 attempts every month. The game's going to progress no matter what we do, whether we win or lose. But it's always nice to win because we get a better score at the end. If we lose the first game, but we still manage to get the virologist, that's a good thing. Because that's an objective that's not going to come back. Once we find the virologist, we've rescued her. It's really kind of a strange thing. Suddenly, this all started out with diseases and stuff. Now it's turning into a Tom Clancy movie or something. It's like there's a plot twist coming. So we can emphasize
China.
We can emphasize rescuing the virologist this game, but it might end up costing us overall. We have to complete 3 objectives. The available objectives are we have to find the cures to 3 of the normal diseases. That's the red, black, and blue. We could eradicate 1 disease, which is you find a cure and you remove all the cubes of it from the board. It's doable, but depending on the circumstances, it's not necessarily easy. We could have a military base in each of the 6 major regions of the world. This is pretty easy given where we're at. We've already got 4 military bases starting out. It wouldn't take much more to add 2 more. We could quarantine 7 fated cities. This is dangerous. And unless you've got the quarantine specialist, probably not something we want to chase after. And then, as we mentioned, the objective we just uncovered is finding the virologist. And this one is one we probably should try to do. So I'm kind of curious. I'm almost curious of doing 2 characters each just to see what it's like. But I would defer to you if you feel like it's what's that?
The downside is we only get 2 cards each.
That is true. I personally think it's harder to win overall if you are playing with 4 players. But I don't know. I'm more interested in what will make it an interesting game. So, but either way, I'm good with what you're down for. So, so how do you feel, winners? Do you want to go 1 or 2?
Let's go 2.
All right, cool. All right, so I will be playing then. I am playing green all this year, so there's no green piece, but the closest piece to green is teal. I'll take the strawberry color because that hasn't been used. So let's see.
White and black.
Yep. All right. So, our setup says to do what? Our setup says place outbreak and cure marker objectives. Okay, place infected city markers. Okay, select funded events and add them to the deck and deal out player cards. All right, so this is where we've got some decisions to make. So we have 0 funding just off the bat, unless we want to spend some of that donation money on extra cards. So if at $5 a card, we could get 1, 2, all the way up to 6. You want 3 cards? So I would say let's do like an even number, because then or like a multiple of 10, because then we can use the $10, the remaining funds for to remove cubes from the board. So if we've got $30,
do we want to save some money in case we lose, so we have something for the next round.
Interesting choice. Okay, so if we did 3, so you want to do 3 event cards, and
Since we start off at 0, which will leave us 15 for a future game, which will give us an event card and get rid of 1 cube.
You're right. Okay, cool. I'm good with that.
Right now we have no event cards.
We have no event cards. So that's why I'm like, we need help. We need help. We don't know what we're doing. All right. I would say
Automatic.
one. Yeah.
Automatic.
Okay. Don't know. All right. We're gonna keep new assignment aside. I don't think it's that good for this game. My camera's not big enough to show everything that's there. I don't think there's anything that outright helps us with a search. Let's see. So we used resilient population to good effect last time. This is removing an infection card from the discard pile. So I would suggest keeping that one in mind. Again, we always seem to end up coming back to like the same 3 cards: forecast, resilient population, and 1 quiet night. The other options, like this adds 2 quarantine markers. Yeah, I agree. Adds a military base to any city with no discard needed. So unless one of us plays the ops expert, this could come in really handy. But with 4,
the ops expert, because, well, actually, the ops expert also works for research stations, correct?
correct, which we are going to need a research base somewhere.
Put it to the right side till we figure it out. So leave it as possibility.
All right. Current player takes 2 extra actions. No. Remove 2 disease cubes from the board. Like maybe. Airlift moves upon. I'm not. Yeah. Flexible aid package, discarding cards. I don't think this is what we want because we're going to be spending cards on other stuff. And this adds a research station. So.
This won't work because we can't use it to add it to the fallen cities. Oh, wait. Fallen, not invaded.
Yeah, we can. So, but
here's a question. How many cities aren't one of those in the yellows?
So that includes, Los Angeles, Mexico City, Miami, Santiago, Buenos Aires, and Lagos. Those are all of the available faded cities. Anywhere else either has a structure already in it or it's yellow or worse, which means we can't put a research base there. So I'm thinking it probably, depending on where we go and how we do this, probably we're looking at one of these cities, either Los Angeles or Mexico City, for real gutsy, maybe somewhere deep in South America. But
I would go with one of the top 3 cities because that way we can pop out of it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So let's go back to the card cam.
I would say no to the card because knowing us, we spend money to buy it, and then it's like one of the last things that gets drawn.
Yeah. Okay. So we're definitely doing one quiet night.
I'm skipping.
So the research, so we've got two, selecting 2 from these 4. I think we said, yeah, this is tricky. I think the I feel like the resilient population usually helps. It's usually you can get rid of something that's really, really dangerous. Then that leaves us with one of these. And boy, I wish autofocus would work better.
No matter of focus, you've got glare on the middle card. That's what's throwing it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, that's better. Let's see. So, what do you think, Mike?
Well, how do we put down research bases if nobody plays the ops expert?
If no one plays the ops expert, you need to have the city card. So building a structure. So build a structure. Discard the city card that matches the city you are in to place a structure there. So that's either a research base or a military base.
So we kind of need to have the ops expert as one of them because we need to build 3 buildings.
Yes. Yeah. So if one of us is the ops expert, then I think this card. Yeah, I think this card is likely.
Take that out. I'll put one of mine will be the ops expert.
Yep. So then remove 2 disease cubes or forecast.
Forecast. That's been more helpful.
I agree. Yep. I'm trying to get something different in, but man, there's just certain cards that seem to work. All right, so I'm gonna take these event cards, shuffle them into our deck. Now, our 4 characters are each going to receive 2 cards each. So this is going to be some really dilute hands. So it's going to be some interesting gameplay here tonight. We haven't seen this before.
I feel like you should definitely be the scientist for one of yours.
Okay. So we'll take a look at who's a good choice and who may not be. Hopefully we're still streaming okay. I see greens on everything, so that usually is a good sign. One more shuffle. One more shuffle and a cut. Okay. All right. So let's try to get that in there. All right. In no particular order. So winners, your hands are, you've got Montreal and Santiago. You also have your second player. You've got Cairo and Khartoum. Cairo and Khartoum. The blue, I have Milan and St. Petersburg. So there's a potential scientist right there. And for our pink, now I have Algiers and Baghdad, also a potential scientist. The scientist is really nice because she helps win the game faster. All right, let me just double check the rules here. Select funded events, which we've done. Prepare the player deck. All right, so now I take these awful epidemic cards, and I have to create the player deck by dispensing these things out.
While you're shuffling, I think you should definitely play the scientist. I'll play the ops expert.
Okay.
Who should be for our second players?
Your
hand, you may want to play the researcher and transfer cards between yourself.
That could make sense. And I want to point out one other thing once I have a free hand. I realized this at the end of last game, but there's a really handy, not really an upgrade, but there's a we introduced equipment cards last game, but we didn't use them at all. But there is one equipment card which I really think we should get out sooner, because they become permanent changes to the game. Again, this is a legacy game, so we're doing things like adding stickers, we're opening up packages, we're revealing new cards, we're destroying pieces and stuff, all because the game keeps changing. So there is a permanent change that we can make called induced pluripotent stem cells, and that basically turns any one of these city cards into a wild card. So it can become any color. So it's probably something worth getting out there, preferably on a yellow card, if we've got nothing better to do with it.
In the average game, those are worthless to us.
What's that?
On an average game, those are worthless to us.
Yes, correct. But in this game, well, yeah, in this game, we're going to have something to do with them.
I have 2 of them already.
Yep. Okay. Got that. I am so going to mess this up with my shuffling, like horrible shuffling. Let's see.
Those of you watching home, Dave did shuffle it to the point where the second card drawn was an epidemic.
Pretty much, yep. Okay. Stack, stack, and stack. All right. Okay, now we get to the super important questions. So as Mike was saying, okay, so I'm gonna go with the scientist as one of my characters. I'm gonna go with the. I'll go with the blue character or the teal character, and you believe I should. And you're gonna take ops expert. I'm gonna just pull that out and let you decide which one you're gonna want to do. And there's the researcher. So researcher and scientist go very well together. The scientist is very good at discovering the cures, which helps us end the game. The researcher is all about passing cards between other players. Okay, so you're going to go with the ops expert. This guy is all about building buildings and traveling between them. So now you have to decide who your second character is going to be. And I'm going to pull out a couple of suggestions, one of which you will probably choose over the others, but we're just going to see. All right. The one is the generalist, the mighty Ellie Mae. She's just an all-around good character to have. She gets 1 extra action on top of anyone else, and she's got this neat little relationship with the researcher in that they can pass cards to each other pretty much from anywhere on the board. So they have like a psychic connection. If I know Mr. Winters, he will probably choose the medic. The medic is all about clearing cubes from the board. That could be very, very handy, especially depending on how the black disease develops this game. That could be pretty handy. Now, the suggestion I'm going to pose to you, you're going to think I'm crazy. This guy, the soldier. Why this guy? Because he is not afraid of the zombies. You do not gain a scar if you start your turn in a city with a faded figure. And for an action, you may pick up an equipment card from the discard pile, but you cannot discover a cure. So this guy can be challenging to play, depending on the circumstances you find yourself. You're like, dude, there's no one else we can have do this. It's got to be this dude. Knock on wood, there's not much faded going on right now. But anyway, so the other characters, the quarantine specialist, I don't see that as being super useful. What's that?
Take the medic out. I'm not thinking the medic this game.
You're not thinking the medic this game?
I was thinking the generalist because of the connection to the researcher.
Okay. Cool. All right, so we've got the mighty Ellie Mae coming out.
Because I do have a blue card and a black card.
You do have a blue and a black. Ooh, yes, you do. Okay, so now you have to decide who you want sitting where. Do you want your ops expert holding the blue card or your expert holding the black card. Keeping in mind, all right. So I will need 3 black cards in the scientist's hands to cure black. I will need 4 blue cards to cure in the scientist's hands to cure blue. So if we want to make some early progress, maybe I should change my camera a little bit. Maybe I should do it like this. Or something like that. To where the scientist is holding on to the 2 black cards, the researcher holds the 2 blue. So this is just my suggestion. How is this looking to you?
This looks fine. So I'm okay with that because I'm not sure, because you know best as which card you want to get from Ellie Mae to then turn around and give to the scientist.
Yeah, because of this connection, and if I believe I'm reading this right, when a rival player discards coworker. Wait a minute. Okay, it's all right. So it's actually the ops expert who has the special relationship with the researcher. So the ops expert is you may share knowledge with a coworker as long as any one of you is in the city of the card that is being passed. The researcher may pass any card. So the researcher can pass any card to the ops expert. The ops expert would have to be in Montreal to pass Montreal to the researcher, but you could do it from anywhere. Or you could pass it to the researcher while the researcher is somewhere else entirely. Does that make sense?
To ship it out.
Yes. So that would still be good, because then the researcher would have 3 blue cards to eventually dump into the scientist's hands, and then the generalist is rivals with Teresa Statman. When a rival plays or discards a card, you may immediately discard any 2 cards to pick it up. So that it may be helpful, may not be. You may not necessarily be burning a bunch of cards right away, but let's see.
What you find interesting is out of the 8 cards, not 1 red.
Let's hope that doesn't hurt us. And we're going to want...
Comes into, are we starting in Atlanta or Hong Kong?
Yeah. Because we have to start in the same city, all of us. So I'm going to move the search track.
In Hong Kong, we can move over, clear off those 2 cities that are next to each other.
Yeah.
That are black.
I'm feeling like that would be a good thing for Ellie Mae to go do. Keeping in mind, we've got all the positive mutations for red, so red's going to be this city is not a problem for us. Any of us can get rid of all those cubes.
I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking literally about the blacks.
Right. Okay. So let's see. Oh, and the last thing to let me just double check our setup. So we got the player deck, we got starting characters and starting location. Yeah, I feel like going back to the map here for a second. I feel like we could start in either location. I don't think it's going to hurt us much one way or the other, because we can get to one of those 2 as long as one of us is pretty close to the research bases. We can get back and forth pretty easily.
One And I say start in Atlanta because we got to hit the yellows, and there are more blues with cities that are marked up, so we do have to worry about running out of cubes.
I agree with that. All right, set up search track is the new step that we just unveiled. You use game winning bonus. Okay, so what is that? That is this thing. All right, so because we were such good folk, because we were so awesome last game, we get to either add one equipment sticker to a city card in one player's hand, or add excuse me, add 3 roadblock markers anywhere on the board.
Does roadblocks affect our movement?
Roadblocks do affect our movement. How do they affect our movement, Dave? They block the road. If your current region has a military base, you may spend 1 action. Okay. If a city is completely roadblocked, no, that's not what. Where is the thing that tells me? Players may no longer drive ferry along a route containing a roadblock unless they discard a card of the same color as the city they are entering. So yes, it does impede our movement. So if you were going to try to move into a yellow city that has a roadblock in it, you'd have to spend a yellow card. Not necessarily a great use of cards, but
Curiosity, how's the roadblock looking?
So our existing roadblocks right now, we've got Los Angeles roadblocked. This Los Angeles to Sydney is roadblocked, so the faded can't spread this way. We've got roadblocks from Atlanta and Washington to Miami, so we're protected there. We do not have any roadblock, and that's it. That's all that we've got. So,
Mexico City?
What's that? Atlanta to Miami. Atlanta to Miami.
You can go, but Atlanta to Mexico City is open? I can't tell if that's a line there.
So there is no line between Atlanta to Mexico City. It goes Mexico City to Chicago.
Okay, so to get down there to drop a military base or a research base, I have to go to Chicago, down.
The one connection I am going to point out is this one up here, Khartoum to Cairo, and we've got 2 faded figures in Khartoum. So maybe we should do the roadblocks. What do you think? Unless somebody's now putting down roadblocks, it doesn't cost us like any cards. You can place roadblock markers on any or all routes connected to your city, but your region must have a military base in it. If one of us got to Cairo, that wouldn't be an issue. You could roadblock Cairo very easily.
We still need military bases.
We
have one in the south, in the yellow. We have one in black.
Yeah, we need a military base in North America and Europe, and we will have completed one of our objectives. We have military bases everywhere else. So based on how this is looking, I think it would probably behoove us to put the roadblocks down rather than go with the equipment or putting down equipment. Equipment's pretty easy to use or to get. You just need to be in a research base or military base and spend an action.
And I said the roadblock.
Cool. All right. So we got 3 roadblocks. Yeah, add 3 roadblock markers anywhere on the board. All right, so one of them is going to be Cairo to Khartoum. So then we got 2 more. Another risky one is this one, Sao Paulo to Madrid.
Whatever we do with the roadblocks, we need to leave Chicago and Mexico City open as a route for get in and out.
Okay.
So we're going to run the risk of faded there, but there's no faded close at this point.
Right. Okay. So why don't we do Madrid to Sao Paulo? That's going to protect Europe from faded. We have a third. Now, Mayo was suggesting last time that we attempt to completely block off a faded city from other faded cities. So actually, maybe I don't. All right. Here's a silly idea. If you drop a barrier here between Lagos and Khartoum, then no outbreaks could spread this way. But it's, I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at this going. I'm not sure if that even makes sense to do.
Now here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you completely roadblock off a city, does that prevent that city from even outbreaking?
It doesn't prevent it from outbreaking, but nothing spreads from that city. So like if you
it will move the outbreak counter.
Yes, it would still move the outbreak counter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with where you stuck the third one.
I'm not sure that as I look at this, I'm not sure that I am. I think what I'd rather do is maybe protect San Francisco from Los Angeles.
Okay.
Because then that makes our main corridor in and out Chicago. And that still lets us get to Los Angeles or Mexico City. Okay. All right. Double checking the rules here. I think we are good to go. All right. Oh, we got to decide who's the first player. And then we'll try to alternate you, or you, me. We have Mocha. All right, Mocha's going first. Oh, which just happens to be. All right, so we'll do it like. So you're going first and third. We'll put the researcher. Do it like this. First and third. Wait, no, that's the scientist. No, I want the researcher going here. Okay. All right, and then everybody's going into Atlanta. Right?
Here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's after me? The researcher or the scientist?
The researcher is after you. I'm having the scientist go last, so that the scientist has a chance to get cards.
So what I probably should do is go to Montreal first.
Probably would make sense. Yeah. Although if we're starting in the same city, the researcher's normal power applies, which is you can pass me any card, or you could pass the researcher any card.
As my action.
As an action, yeah.
Okay. So, first step, have Montreal.
Okay, 1.
So that gives you what?
That gives me 3 blues in the researcher's hands.
And the scientist doesn't have any blues on there.
The scientist does not have any blues. No.
Okay. So my next action is move me to Chicago.
You are a Mocha, so you're going to Chicago. That's 2.
Move me to Mexico City.
3.
Drop a research base.
4. Good. All right.
Am I getting scars now?
We don't know.
I mean, does it need to have a faded in it?
If there is a faded, if you start your turn in a city with a faded figure, you will take a scar.
Okay, it's not an automatic just because I'm in the yellow city.
It's not, no. If we somehow manage to either move you out or get rid of the faded figure. All right, so your 2 cards are, we got Bogota. Now, because this is a yellow card, it gets a faded figure. So Bogota is right there. And you also get Jakarta. There's our first yellow card. All right, so not too bad. So you're now holding 2 yellow cards. That's pretty good. That's a good way to get some damage on this search track. All right, and then we draw 2 infection cards. 1, 2. 2 infected cities are, we've got San Francisco and Shanghai. Each get 1 cube. So San Francisco gets a blue. What did I say? Shanghai gets 1 red. Okay. Oh, I'm going to mess things up so bad. All right. So now we go to the researcher. The researcher probably is going to have a pretty boring turn. No, what we're going to do here as the researcher is going to take Cairo from Ellie Mae as 1, and then as a second action is going to give it to the scientist as 2. Now, because of the positive mutations that we've got on black right now, you don't need to be in a research base. It doesn't take an action to discover a cure, and we discover a cure with 1 less card. The scientist needs 3 black cards. She is holding 3 black cards, so therefore black is immediately cured. Yay! That's 1 out of 3. And that means that it's much easier for us to get rid of these black cubes from the board. All right, so that was 2 actions. And then the remaining 2, yeah, I'm just going to do it. All right, so next 2 actions are going to be passing 2 blue cards to the scientist.
And she'll need 4.
We need 4. We have a 3rd, so the scientist will be able to get that 3rd. Let's hope there's a 4th. All right, so we draw 2 cards. What are they? What could they be? We've got Taipei, all right, and Manila. Okay, not too shabby. Not too shabby. That puts us closer to curing red. But then we
need 3 for the red?
Yes, we need 3 for the red. Then we have 2 infected cities. We have Bogota gets a faded figure, and Algiers gets a black.
Bogota now is 2 faded.
So Bogota has 2 faded figures in it. Yeah. Okay. That's the researcher's turn, going to the mighty Ellie Mae.
So tell me about how the search thing works.
So you need to be in a city. You need to be in a faded city with a research base, and then you just dump cards of that city's color. So if you went to Mexico City, you just dump yellow cards into this search track, and we start moving this search icon this way. And as soon as we get it to the number 6, we have found the virologist. And if you...
When does the virologist start to move?
When we start drawing epidemic cards here.
Okay. Okay, so for Ellie Mae, which gets 5 actions, Action 1, I'm going to Chicago.
Let's see, and you're the white. So 1,
Mexico.
2.
I just burned Santiago.
You have Khartoum. I'm sorry. Yeah, you have Khartoum.
Reading it at a distance. It is
Can I-
Khartoum.
Can I make? Yeah. Can I make a suggest? Can I make one suggestion with one before you do that? If you quarantine Mexico City, you will make your search more powerful. So
If I don't have a Mexico City card.
you don't need a card to quarantine. Anybody can quarantine where they're at for no cards. So quarantine is just place a quarantine marker in your current city.
Okay, so let's quarantine it.
Okay. So you quarantine Mexico City, and then when you burn Khartoum,
Child life specialists help.
Yikes. Whoa. Okay. Burning Khartoum means that you advance one space for it being Khartoum, and then one additional space. So you're at 2. We need to get to 6. So you've just made it that much more effective. And I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You have another action you could do.
I'm going to Chicago.
Going back to Chicago. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. Drawing 2 cards. You have now Shanghai and Sydney. There is enough red on the board now to cure. There's enough red cards to cure red. Almost enough cards to cure all of the diseases, which is fantastic. All right, but we got to infect 2 more cities.
I have Sydney and Shanghai.
You have Sydney and Shanghai. Yes, we have.
So for those playing at home, I actually take the cards and I keep the stack of them so I know which ones I specifically have.
Because Mike has a copy of this game as well. So we have Washington and New York. Both get blues. Washington and New York. Okay. All right, so now we come to the scientist. So the scientist is going to take... Ooh. How is this going to work? Yeah, I guess the only... So I can take the blue from the researcher as 1. I guess take the 2 reds. Yeah, I take the 2 reds for 2 more. So that's 3 actions. So I'm holding now. All I need is 1 more red to cure red, and 1 more blue to cure blue. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3. I have a 4th action. My 4th action would be to probably make a move. You know what? What's that?
Does Atlanta have any cubes? I can't quite tell.
Atlanta doesn't have any cubes, no. I don't want to burn any cards.
I just think stay where you are.
Drop a quarantine.
In case you can get that 4th blue, you're already at the research station.
Yep.
Because I'm going to start, well, when I get back to Ellie Mae, I'm going to start clearing some of those blue cubes.
Yep. So I think, and actually, well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but you're actually very close to finishing the search. So that would be great. So I think for my last action, I'm just going to quarantine where I'm at because there's not really any other productive things I can do. There's already a building in Atlanta. Yeah. Okay. So I draw 2 cards. My 2 cards are... all right. Fantastic. That's my 4th blue. I don't cure blue right away. We don't have any positive mutations on blue. And black. It's a black. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now 7 cards. My hand is full. I cannot hold any more cards.
But starting next turn, you're going to burn 4 cards.
I'm gonna do stuff with it. All right, and then I draw 2 more infection cards. We have Johannesburg and Lagos, 2 yellows. Johannesburg is way down here, and Lagos is right here. So Africa's not looking too hot. Okay.
Now, for those of you who don't know, with the pandemic legacy games, we can't cure anything in the yellow.
Yep. The faded disease is just going to continuously spread. There's nothing we can do to slow it down, unless we have some really powerful effects, which are not. You're not going to win. You're not going to stop the faded. Not at least not at this point in the game. Okay, so that was the scientist. We'll come back around to the ops expert. Expert McExpert face.
I'm going to burn Bogota.
Burning Bogota. Okay, advances the search track 1, 2.
Now, don't leave the screen on there and don't put it back, but I just burned Santiago too.
Oh, look at that. Burn Santiago and 1, 2. Boom! Yay! We found the virologist. Okay, I need a coin. Bear with me one moment. We're going to go to a very short intermission while I go dig up a coin. Right, this is cool. I did not think we were going to do this well. Let me go back to the card cam here.
Go find a way to knock on it right now.
What's that?
Go find a way to knock on it right now. Don't jinx us.
All right, so scratch off this card when you find the virologist. We just finished the search, so what do we get? What do we get? Did we get the Powerball number? Oh, big mess. Big mess. Whoa! Big mess. Okay. Stop shaking. Stop shaking. What do we got? All right, we got some text. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. I've done work on CODA and can start some limited treatment, but we're going to need an immunologist to fully develop and administer a vaccine. By the way, you should stop taking the antiviral meds they've been giving you. I've looked at them, and they're placebos. Dun, dun, dun! You now have the gene sequence of CODA. Wait a minute, they've been giving us placebos? All right, so we hold on to this thing. What does it do? Not much right now, but it is important later. Much later. Okay.
On multiple occasions.
Yeah. And that's one of our 3 objectives completed. We found the virologist. Okay, awesome. And now we don't need to be in faded cities anymore. Yay!
Moving to Chicago.
Going back to Chicago. So that's 3. Or 3.
And What city is to the right of Chicago, and how many cubes are there?
Montreal is to the right of Chicago, and there's 2 cubes there.
Okay, move me there.
1, 2, 3. That would be your 4th action.
Yes.
Okay. You're
Because
welcome.
nothing can blow up and cause me to get a scar from it outbreaking.
Theoretically. And you have Jakarta, which is a red card. So we're looking pretty strong here. We've got enough cards to get all of our remaining cures. We're in North America. We can very easily get a military base down somewhere. Europe is just across the pond. We're looking pretty strong. All right, but what's going to
move me back to Chicago?
Oh, move you back to Chicago?
Drop a military base.
Ooh, he's living dangerously. Junk. All right. So that is 5 of our military bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 that are needed. So we're very close to getting that, getting another objective down. But now, what cards are we going to draw? Yep. Oh, I just threw my quarter. I don't know where that went. All right, so you drew Buenos Aires. Okay, not super useful to you right now, but does mean that we put a faded figure in Buenos Aires, which is way down in South America. And then this couldn't possibly... Oh! All right.
Well, we were due.
Overdue, but... Yeah.
Doesn't count anymore.
Yep, this is true. All right, so we increase the infection rate marker. This goes up 1, which doesn't change anything for right now. We infect a new city. So we go to the bottom of the deck. We pull out a card, and this city gets 3 figures. We have Tehran. Tehran gets 3, and now black is looking kind of scary. Ooh. Yeah, that's looking pretty ugly. All right, and now the intensify is like, wow, that's a lot of cards. I take all of this, take all of these cards, and they go right back on top of the deck. It's probably as far down as we're going to get in this game, methinks. And that was the 2 cards. That was your 2 cards, right? Okay, so now now we infect 2 cities. And the 2 cities we are infecting are San Francisco, not too bad, and Shanghai, also not too bad. All right, so San Francisco goes to 2. We can afford that. And Shanghai also goes to 2. We can afford that. That's the ops expert. Now we go to the researcher. Okay, so where am I? I am in Atlanta. You are in, I guess both of yous are in Chicago. So I want to go to Chicago for 1. Do you care who I take a card from? No. Okay. I'm going to grab a card. I think I'm going to take a card from Ellie Mae, just because McExpert Face could do probably more interesting things with them. So I'm going to take Sydney from Ellie Mae to the researcher. So that's 2 actions. My 3rd action is going back to Atlanta. And my 4th action is going to be giving Sydney to the scientist, who now has 3 red cards. Those 3 red cards are enough to cure red, which happens immediately. And now that's...
the way we cause mutations, the scientist, once they have 3 cards, clears this, or cures it immediately, doesn't even need to be in a research station, doesn't even need to go blow to action.
Yep. Yep. And that happens on the researcher's turn, which is a great use of resources. Okay, so I think that's it, right? Because there's nothing else I can do. All right, so let's draw 2 more cards from the player deck. What do we got? We got Lima beans. They got great beans in Lima. And Mexico City. Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right, so what does that mean? That means Lima gets a faded figure, and Mexico City, doink, loses its quarantine shield, but doesn't get a faded figure. But that could have slowed us down. That could have slowed us down. And those go to the researcher. Okay, and the researcher, if we get back around to her, I think she's going to do some interesting stuff with equipment. Then I have to infect 2 cities. To infect 2 cities. What cities will I infect? I will infect Karachi. I think that just blew up. Yeah, that's not good. And we'll resolve this first. So Karachi is here. Yeah, that's bad. All right, so that's 1 outbreak. So every city can hold 3 cubes of any color. So that's, and when you hit an outbreak, it then sends disease cubes to all the neighboring cities. So that means Riyadh, Mumbai, Delhi all get cubes. Oh, and we would put 1 in Tehran, but there's already 3 there, which means Tehran is going to suffer an outbreak. So now we've got 2 outbreaks out of an allowed 8 in the game. So that means Delhi gets another 1. That's not good. That's not good. But cities can only outbreak once, so Karachi, nothing else happens there. Okay, that was the first card. Second card is Montreal, which I think just goes to 3, and there's plenty of people there, so we can very easily do something about that. So that...
Next time, though, so it's going to go well. Oh, wait, no, I'm still up.
Yep. That was the researcher. Yeah, now we're back to the mighty Ellie Mae.
Okay. So, Dave, you've got a better view than I do, even though I'm using my big TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, using what you see, starting from there, Chicago, move me generally east.
Yeah.
Curing blues along the way.
Curing blues along the way. Okay. Now, blue is not cured.
Come down to Atlanta and fly to Hong Kong, Petersburg to head into the black.
Yeah, let's look at this here and see what makes the most sense. So you go from Chicago to Atlanta as 1, and then I think your best, see, this messes us up. The fact that Delhi has collapsed means that we cannot move through that city without spending resources. So I think your best bet actually is to go from Atlanta to St. Petersburg, which we can do because we have a research base in both of those cities. So that's your second act.
1 second. I'm always get confused by this. How do I burn cards to move?
You have, as the researcher, you have the Shanghai card, which means that you could use this to travel directly to Shanghai. Or if you were in Shanghai, you could use that card to go anywhere.
So, which is it better to do? Fly to Shanghai, clear those 2 cubes as actions 1 and 2. And then move south, which actually could potentially eradicate red.
It could, but I think so. We're actually not that far from winning this game, because all we need to do is get one more cure, which we're going to have on the scientist's turn, and we need one more military base, which we'll have on like McExpert Face's next turn. I think the bigger issue is trying to break up. Oh, not like that. Oh, not like that. Yeah, let's see. That was one there. Karachi had 3. Yeah, we need to break up this stuff, not quite like I just did. I have an extra black cube. That's not a good thing. Of course I'm holding an extra black cube.
On your phone and rewind it.
I'm just going to drop this dude. I think it was in Mumbai. Oh, yeah, it was in Mumbai. It was in Mumbai, because Mumbai is connected to Karachi. I think your better bet is to go from Atlanta to St. Petersburg and then down to Tehran, because you have 5 actions.
I get 5 actions.
So you have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you, with your 5th special action, you could, and the fact that black is cured, you can get all the cubes out of Tehran.
Done.
Cool. All right. I think that's probably the best move you can make, because going over here, you'd be too far away from anything. Okay. So you draw 2 more cards. What do we got? We got another epidemic. Oh man. Okay. So again, we raise the infection rate by 1. We infect.
I have 1 quiet night, but can I play it anyway?
Sadly, no. All right, we draw a card from the bottom of the deck. It gets 3. Beige. Oh, bad things happen in Beijing.
For those of you who are watching, if there's anybody actually watching, in my version of the game at home, which I've only played through March, I got trapped in Beijing through 3 outbreaks because I didn't get a chance to move.
Yep.
We don't talk about Beijing. Best for Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Ooh, this is not good. All right, so I have a very short deck, which I am putting right back on top. This is not good. Okay, putting that right back on top. Your second player card draw is Essen, which not super interesting. Not at this stage, anyway. Okay, so then we draw 2 infection cards. 1, 2.
I'm still playing Ellie Mae, right?
What's that?
Ellie Mae, right?
You are Ellie Mae, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I put that on the right pile.
Yep. So we've got Beijing, which blows up. That's 3 outbreaks. And we put cubes in Shanghai and Seoul. So Shanghai is at 3. And then we've got San Francisco, which goes to 3. Okay. This is dicey. Now we've got to the scientist. So the scientist is holding 4 blue cards, and she is in a research base. So we're going to use these 4 blue cards to cure blue. Just no ifs, ands, or buts. Just do it. So that's 2 objectives down. And that's... What's that?
We need 3 or 4 in July.
We need 3. We need 3 in July. So that's 1 action. We need to start clearing some of this other mess here. We're going to go to... I'm going to try to get to Montreal. Or... Montreal or Ho Chi Minh City. Or Hong Kong. What was in the stack? What came out? I don't remember. Okay. I think. All right. I am more worried about. Okay, I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna make my way to Shanghai. So I'm gonna fly from Atlanta to Hong Kong. So that's my second action. 3 to go to Shanghai, and then 4 to clear it. Right? That's okay. That's going to stop a excuse me. That's going to stop a chain reaction from happening, and it's going to keep this track from filling up if more bad stuff happens. Okay, so we're going to draw 2 more cards from the player deck. We already know that we've drawn 2 epidemic cards, so we should be in good shape. San Francisco. That's all right. And Osaka. Okay. That's all right. We can deal with that. Oh, and then I got to draw 2 infection cards. 1, 2. I wish I didn't have to. We've got Montreal. Oh, I guessed wrong. All right, so Montreal blows up. That goes to 4. Oh, and I need to remember to add stickers. Oh, I need to add a bunch of stickers to these. All right, let's do that. Let's do Montreal first. All right, so we got this, that, and that. All right, and then we're going to pause while I go back and figure out. See, I should be adding these stickers to all these cities that have been outbreaking. So we've had an outbreak in Montreal, so that goes to 1. We've had an outbreak in Beijing, right? So Beijing goes to a 2. Would destroy a research base, but there's none there. We've had an outbreak in Tehran. So Tehran goes to a 2. We've had an outbreak in Karachi, which goes to a 3. Let's see. So we've had 4 outbreaks. So we've had Montreal, Karachi, Tehran, and Beijing. That's our 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, all right. So we're good. What's that?
Before my action, I need to confirm before my action. We need only 3 objectives, correct?
3 objectives. We just need 3 objectives.
We're winning.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, so that was Montreal. Next card is Karachi. Oh, man. Okay, so Karachi blows up again. Right? Yeah. Add another sticker. So Karachi goes to, all right, Karachi goes to a level 4, which means it is collapsing, which means that it is now even harder to get in and out of there. That would be really bad. This is really bad. Because now this forms like a wall right here. Oh, that stinks. But we don't trigger anything else, and that's great. We broke up that chain in the connections between, or we cleared Tehran, which means that this outbreak doesn't trigger anything else. But now Delhi is full, and Delhi could outbreak if it gets hit again.
That's my turn, right?
Yes. Just making sure. Yeah, I don't think anything else is going to happen. I think we are going to win this game.
It can't happen, Dave, it can't happen. I'm in Chicago, right?
You're in Chicago. Yep.
Okay. First action. Move me to Montreal.
1,
New York.
2.
And are both London and Madrid in good enough shape that I can drop a research base there? Or
Yeah, both of them are fine. Military bases are not affected by like rioting. So when a military base goes down, it like nothing can take it off the board.
3 to London, drop a military base, we win.
3, 4, boom. Have a military base in each of the 6 major regions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. Tokyo. I'm missing something somewhere. We have to. Where am I? Oh, it's because it was in Tehran and I flicked it off. Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. That's 3 objectives. We win. Yay!
And $15 to carry forward to next week.
Yay! All right. Good stuff. We found the virologist. We finished the game with 4 characters. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to be harder. I didn't think it was going to be as impactful as it turned out to be, to have this many people on the board. So
let's go through and do our endgame stuff.
Yep. So endgame stuff. Okay. So we finished our first game. So we reached our first game at end of first game in July. Before selecting your game end upgrades, open the following doors and then draw this card. So we have to draw 30. Where did I put all that stuff? Oh, where are you? I gotta open 37. I'm starting to run out of stuff. 37. 37 is right here. Okay. 37. More scars. So for folks, now we've been playing really well. If one of our characters is in a city where like bad stuff is happening, like there's a faded, where there's faded figures, or if they're in a city when it outbreaks, then they get what's called a scar. A scar is a disadvantage, which hurts you. If you get too many of them, the character dies. We don't want any of that to happen. So scars, new scars become available. So like they're new options. Not even going to look at them because we're not going to need them. Hopefully, ever. That was 37, 35. Opening another door. Okay, more equipment. We've got another field hospital. We've got binoculars, which is discard this card to advance a search party token 2 additional spaces when you take the search action. And another copy of binoculars. So
that's only helpful if we have to go hunting again, which we shouldn't have to.
Not this search.
The virologist again is what I'm asking.
We're not going to need to find the virologist again.
But we need to find immunologists.
We need to find an immunologist and possibly other things. And 18. Where is 18? 18 is the legal age for... I don't even know anymore. I don't know what you can do when you're 18. 8.
And vote.
Oh, 18. Okay. 18. Okay. This copy of this game like has all of these stickers that like come off when I open things up. This didn't happen with my first copy. So like there's a bunch of stuff here that's coming off. There's a single game and upgrade. So what does this say? Add this to the pool of upgrades at the end of the game. Paramilitary escort. Whenever you leave a city with a faded figure, remove 1 figure from that city. Whoa! Only military characters can use this upgrade. As a game end upgrade, add an upgrade sticker to a character card. So here's one example where we could actually remove a faded figure from the game. Now, Mike, do you want me to metagame for a little bit? Because I have played through this whole game. Do you want me to?
You and Dave, or you and Mayo already have a lot more information than I do, and I am playing this blind.
Let's just say the game's going to get real crazy after this month. Like it's been getting crazy. It's going to get even crazier. And the thing to watch out for is this upgrade. So the only person in this game that this could go on is Mr. McExpertface. What's that?
So you put on one of the 4 players we've been playing with.
Yeah. Yep. You have to put it on. Yeah, we have to use it on one of these 4 characters, and the only one that is military is this guy. So anyway,
of the future, you think that would be a good thing to give Expertface?
I think actually it would be a horrible thing to put on McExpertface. I think it would be horrible. It would be horrible. Okay, so then we open these doors and then draw this card. And it's our win bonus, which, if I could find my quarter, which I threw across the room. They threw it across the room. Okay, let's try this thing. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that works. Because we won. We won our first game in July. First game played in August, or for any game played in August, after setup and before the first turn begins, add both one starting military base and one military base to any one city on the board. Oh, a starting military base. Okay, yeah. All right, so that means that, so as an upgrade, we can make one of our military bases permanent. So in other words, it will always be on the board. So this will come into play next game. So let's see, and then the next card is stop. Draw this at the beginning of your first game in August. So we don't draw.
I need to understand what this is. So, because right now we have 4 permanent starting bases.
Yes.
Is this saying you add a 5th?
It would mean means that you actually add 2. One of them is a permanent, the other is a temporary.
Right. So basically, in August, we start off with 1 objective done.
Yep.
Should we decide to make that 6th one permanent as a win bonus? Ooh, guess what? We automatically have 1 objective done for every game going forward.
Yes. Now, I don't remember all the details, and I'm not going to. The whole story that this game tells is really interesting. There's going to be a major plot twist in August. So that's all I'm going to say. And are you noticing how many military bases there are in the world? Like they're suddenly everywhere, all over the world. Is that usually a good thing? I thought this was about curing diseases. We've got more military bases than research bases. What's going on? So
we realized, hey, we're good with these 3 bases and stopped building them months ago.
Okay, so we do now need to choose our game end upgrades. Let me see if I can amass all the options that we have. We can do a bunch of things. Oh yeah, and the equipment as well. I think I think we can. All right. So we have.
Child life specialist
Whoops,
helps.
wrong one. There we go. Okay. We have the option. Okay, we didn't eradicate anything, so we can't choose any positive mutations. So those aren't an option.
The only thing we'd have to eradicate would be blue to get any positive mutations.
I don't think yeah, you're right. And I don't think we didn't stand a chance of eradicating anything this game.
Most of the cities, blue cubes were out.
Yep. So we have some character upgrades, which are options. Grizzled, which we don't gain a scar if you're in a city when it outbreaks. Flexible, which is for an action, discard a card to draw a card of the same color from the discard pile. We have Archive Access, which is increase your hand size by 1. And Pilot, which is do not discard a card when taking a direct flight. Just show the card and return it to your hand, so you don't burn a card. One thing I'm gonna... Oh, where's the book? Where's the instruction book? There it is. I would strongly suggest that we get down one of these equipment cards, this Pluripotent Stem Cells, which is, this can be used as a city card of any color when finding a cure, not an action. So that would turn like a yellow card into a wild card that you could use like for a cure for any of the other diseases.
I agree with that because we seem to be pulling a lot of yellow cards.
Yeah. Now my question is, how many equipment cards are we allowed to... Okay. We may add 3 equipment card stickers to any city cards in the player deck that don't already have stickers on them as a game end upgrade. So that's 3 whole cards that 3 whole equipment cards that we could do. So Pluripotent Stem Cells should definitely be 1. And we want to throw it on a yellow. Do we have any particular yellow cities that we like or don't like? Or should I just draw one at random?
I want it random because it's 6 ways, half dozen the other.
Yep. Okay, there's Miami and Kinshasa and Lagos and Los Angeles. So our two of our equipment cards were like right next to each other in the deck. So go figure. All right, I think this is all the yellow cards. In fact, I think I'm thinking I should just pull 3 yellow cards and just use those.
How many equipment stickers do we have? Because didn't we pull some more?
We did pull some more. We have all of these, and we could talk about what they are. All right, I'm just going to pull 3 yellows from this from here. 1, 2, 3. We got Khartoum, Bogota, and Miami. Okay. Let's say
That's the disease thingy.
Yeah. Okay. Pluripotent Stem Cells on Miami.
Sure.
Okay. So there's a field in here, which is kind of hard to see from here, but there's actually an outline, which, oh my gosh, fits just perfectly with one of these equipment stickers. So now this card is somewhat useful. And actually, I put it on upside down. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right, that's 1. Because the flags should be at the top. All right, so the other equipment cards, we've got a Drone Escort, which is discard this card when you drive ferry into a collapsing or fallen city. That would be like if we were trying to drive into Delhi or is that Karachi at this point, our 4s and our 5s, we could use this card. In other games, I would say this probably isn't that useful. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this.
Given the fact that those two are right near each other, I think one of them would be useful because that right now we're limited to getting from Asia to Asia to through
Yeah.
Asia.
Yeah. Let's look at what some of these others are. Okay, so we've got Field Hospital, which is discard to add a research station to your city, regardless of panic level, for this turn only. It may not be made permanent. Yeah, I have a hard time understanding what that's for.
Right now we have one disease where we need a research station.
Yep. Then we've got 2 binoculars. These are good for searches. Maybe. We have Hazmat Suit. Discard this card when starting your turn in a city containing faded figures. You do not have to take a scar. Could be useful. Okay. I definitely think one of our upgrades should be a grenade belt. Discard at any time to remove 1 faded figure from the city you are in. Then there's 2 of these.
What's the one above it?
Another Field Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't think we need a field hospital.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to vote a grenade belt.
I'm okay with that.
Cool.
I think grenade belt and the search and the binoculars.
Okay, I could be down with that. I am down with that. Grenade belt and binoculares in Khartoum. So Khartoum is now useful. All right. So that's 3 yellow cards that now have some added value. So that's one of our game end upgrades. Our second, I could almost hear Mayo yelling at us from somewhere, if he's even still watching, which in a way I hope he isn't. He should be asleep. Now we have some roadblocks. We could make several of them permanent. We have use a game end upgrade to make any 3 roadblocks on the board permanent. Now, knowing that next turn or next game we do not get any free roadblocks, and so I'm just going to offer this as an option. I'm not saying that there aren't other good ideas. It might be cool to have some character upgrade. It might be cool to add a character upgrade to somebody. Anyway, but the equipment was my suggestion. I'm going to defer to you, like what you think would be a good thing to. What's that?
What are the character upgrades again? We don't need Grizzled Veteran.
Okay, let me get all of these. Let me get all of these out here. So we have Grizzled, which is you don't gain a scar. We have Flexible, which is for an action, discard a card of the... No. You said no. Okay. Archive Access, increase your hand limit by 1. So instead of being able to hold 7, you could hold 8 cards. And then Pilot, do not discard a card when taking a direct flight. Show the card and then return it to your hand. So that could be helpful for someone like Ellie Mae. Somebody who may be holding on to a lot of cards. McExpert Face is already pretty mobile, so I don't know if it would add much value to him. Then there's some other ones here. We have Formidable. You may use a city card from an adjacent city when building any structure. I don't. Yeah, and that came off. So what's underneath it is local pressure. If you are in a military base, you may quarantine an adjacent city with the quarantine action. And the veteran is you may take the military shuttle flight action. So this basically gives a set of dog tags to one of the medical characters. So like one of these folks.
I think it might be helpful to have the archive one for the scientist.
You think? I do kind of. I've been thinking about that one, and yeah, because the scientist, she does tend to build up cards and then vomit them out all at once. But if she doesn't draw well, she could end up holding a bunch of things that she can't use. So I'm good with that. Okay, cool. So archive access on Teresa Statman. So that goes right here. Teresa Statman can hold one more card. All right, good stuff. And we've got the 3 things there. Cool. And that's July. So August, next week, is going to be, like I said, big plot twist coming up. The state of the board. This is... Oh, my camera just died on me. My camera just died. Come on, wake up. Wake up. The camera's telling me it's late. I want to go to sleep.
We're done. It's cleanup time.
It is cleanup time. All right. But yeah, there's interesting things are going to be happening next week. If anybody's watching this, please consider making a donation. Your funds will help us win the game in the future. It's also going to go towards the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, benefiting the Child Life Services Program. I'm Dave and Mike. I'm Dave. He's Mike. Thanks again for watching if you came across this. And please consider joining us again next week. All right. Take care, folks.